Welcome back, family, to another episode of Walking in Wisdom, formerly So Walking in Wisdom. And I really cannot stop laughing, but it gives me great joy to bring you the wonderful movie sponsored by Sonia Uche Television, Domestic War. You could also say war of words between Yoruba and the Igbo woman. So I ask, are you team character Yoruba or are you team character Igbo? And really, does it really matter? Right? We know the nations have been divided since the days of Noah's son amongst tribes, nations, and tongues, indeed. And at the end of the day, isn't it all about character? And if it is, today we're going to provide you with the number one effective leadership rule you need to implement in 2026 when you have poor or bad character on display, whether it's at home, whether it's your employees, whether it's members of your team, whether it's your friends, regardless of the tribe, they both suffered from character assassination. Provide you with a number one tip to be a more effective leader in 2026. So overall, this is a wonderful movie, and we say welcome back to another episode of Walking in Wisdom, formerly So Walking in Wisdom. And if you have not become a subscriber to considering your favorite Nollywood movies and then considering the character on display and deciding whether it applies to you or not, this is a perfect time to do so, just as we're about to bring in 2026 business calendar here. You can decide whether you liked who you were in 2025 and there's no time to pivot and make that change. And the reality is we could all improve. So this is an exercise we can all aspire to do and then level up in time for 2026. So join the elite group of 129 subscribers and join us as we thrive to even go beyond the 129 before the end of business calendar year and simply do the work. It's really about understanding the man and woman in the mirror, and change begins with that person you see in the reflection. So before you can ask more of your spouse, your brother or your sister, family member, your team member, your peer, your colleague, your employer, your employee, your politician, your global leader, you first have to work on you. Expect, demand more from you. Put in the work. Break that bad habit that's been pulling you down for the past few years and level up with us, with this elite cadre of individuals throughout the four corners of the diaspora. Do the work. Simply do the work to get the job done. And if that's you, man or woman of faith, do it, you get the job done, and join us on the other side. Having said that, as we continue to consider the beautiful movies that have been produced by the Nollywood industry, we're going to continue to support and give a shout out to everyone. And understanding that this platform was indeed inspired by Sonia Uche with her great character on display. She's currently at 1.15 million subscribers. We encourage you to subscribe if you haven't done so, and fan out and encourage other family members and friends to support this wonderful young lady. It's so very important to give people their flowers while they're alive, while they're at their peak, and recognize them so they can continue to see what the fans love. And can we say, the bringing back of Psalms, we ask and they delivered. So we have to continue doing the same thing. But it's important that we do it with while having good character. And speaking of good character, where there's good character, there's also bad or poor character. And this is definitely on display in this movie, as we consider the very funny movie Domestic War, played by the beautiful Bimbo Ademoye. She played the character Rolanke, and I believe Sonia Uche played the character Ijeoma, which is her real first name in this movie. And yeah, we asked the question: Are you team Are you on Team Igbo or are you indeed Team Yoruba? And I contend Team Igbo, Team Yoruba, Team Caribbean, Team Western, Team Eastern is all about building good character. And today, because this was such a funny movie, I don't want to take away from it, but I want to share with you one very important lesson learned from this movie. It's about understanding your role, right? And understanding who is the leader. So let's listen in. Let's give it up to the cast of Domestic War, led by Sonia Uche, who played Ijeoma, Bimbo, who played Rulake. Then you have Stanley Igbo Roland. He came in as the Madame's son midway. Then you have Patricia Charles. Let's give it up to Sister Patricia Charles. She played the Madame Kate in this movie. And today's character analysis is really about a two leadership style between mother and son. Now, you can say the son, because of the Western influence of schooling, etc., he was able to make a decisive decision when he witnessed poor character. Unlike the mother who played the madame, she was very caring and loving, and while she issued several threats, eventually she followed through on one, and resulting in her bringing on a second problem. Same bad character, and now she has two domestic maids with poor character, and they still continued working for her, and she could not make that decision to dismiss them. But guess what? In 2026, join us because the number one leadership style you need to hone and the number one attribute that you need to possess in 2026, if you're often a pushover and people don't take you seriously and they don't believe you when you say you're going to deliver, the number one attribute you need to hone is really allowing your yay to be a yay and your nay to be nay. Man or woman of faith, it's important that, yes, you season your conversation with salt, but you must be able to follow through on fill in the blank. And yes, leadership is about making some tough decisions. Sometimes you have to make the tough calls. And those tough calls, you might experience a level of emotional blackmail if it's someone close to you. Or you may experience challenges from your employees if you're the CEO and your employees disagree with you making a tough decision. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. So if you decide to level up in 2026, if you decide to join this elite group of members within Walking in Wisdom, and we're applying wisdom, adorning fruit of the Spirit, and we're looking at the virtues that comprise fruit of the Spirit, it's important that we become decisive in our decision making. Think before we speak so we don't have to renege on what comes out. And at the end of the day, if you want to grow into the leader that people respects, for better or for worse, it's better to be respected than not. Learn to make a decision and stick to decision. In this movie, the son was able to make a decision that the mother was not able to make.
I still see anyone.
I wouldn't tell you what was the impetus for him.
Trump doesn't.
I'm not going to give you the impetus for what made him do this. But trust me when I say it was all based on more bad character. Absolutely. So he came in from the West, saw shenanigans, and he said, you gotta go. Unlike the mother, Lovely, she issued several threats throughout the movie. And instead of eliminating the bad character, she added a second person with bad character. So I ask the question. It's not necessarily whether it's Igbo versus Yoruba. It's about whether you have character or not. And if you're a leader, if you would encounter individuals with poor character, you have to be prepared to make that decision in 2026. Otherwise, you're going to go down with a sinking ship. So that concludes our brief character analysis for Sonia Uche, Domestic War. For another issue of Walking in Wisdom, it's really about applying the techniques, joining this elite exclusive group that have made the decision that they will level up in 2026 because they do desire more from everyone else around them. That means it starts with you, and you, and holding yourself accountable.